Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here and welcome back to another Thursday stream where yes, we have got a action-packed stream tonight guys. Loads of new information come to light literally in the stream earlier today. So we're going through all that news and talking a bit about that as well and my opinions on that and everything else to do with that stream. So yeah, very cool. We're also be looking a bit at Bluestreak and Wildrider, looking at their abilities in game, putting them through the paces, letting you guys know what I think of them. And whether they are worth running for in the endurance event. We're talking about the war effects coming as well, and my opinion on them. We're talking about the bot buffs and sort of letting you guys know which bots are getting the buffs and up to now how them bots are getting buffed also. So loads and loads and loads coming. And I've had a few comments from some lower sort of league players asking, Wozza, how do we sort of get around this problem or this problem? So I'm going to try and cover a few of those in every single stream and whatever problem sort of like comes to light. But yeah, so plenty to talk about today, guys. Apologies for the start. A few errors. For some reason, my stream was buffering. I've not had the stream buffering since I first started streaming. So really strange that happened. Not too sure why it happened. And I started going to the settings. And literally, as I went into the settings to see that, then it sort of fixed itself. So not too sure. So if the stream does buffer, then let me know, guys. But it does seem that all the drop frames from the sort of when I sort of set the stream up, they seem to have gone away. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the stream's all good. So yes, let's have a look who we've got in the chat. So as always, apologies for doing the stream so early. I'm just trying to catch those notifications, and it kind of works. What I do is I sort of set the stream up before I go out for football, go and drop my daughter off, go and check football, go and pick my daughter up, come back, start the stream. So it's not as manic. What would you rather me do? Would you rather me do that early notification and then still stream at 9 o'clock, or would you rather me stream at quarter past, maybe 9:30? Because then I've got to set the stream up when I come back from football. So let me know what would you rather do, guys. Would you rather me keep it as it is now with the early notification, or would you rather me start the stream half an hour later? But don't forget as well, guys, that it is daylight savings this weekend in the UK. So next week, my stream time will be an hour earlier until the US catch up. And I believe the US is about a couple of weeks before daylight savings. I think it is for you guys before the time change. So for a couple of weeks, the stream will be out of sync for, if you're in another part of the world, whatever. But that's another good reason why I'd start the sort of stream early and sort of do notifications so people don't miss it. Don't last minute go like, oh my god, was I starting early? You sort of know. So yeah, let me know in the chat what you prefer. But we've got E-Rods who was first in the chat. Sorry, grind time. Oh, David, he wasn't first, but E-Rods is first. We've got obviously grind time, like I said. Thanks for being a member, buddy. My longest serving member. So big shout out to you, big thank you. Good to speak to you today as well, because as a few people might not know, I am no longer in Horde, but that is no secret. No drama. We'll talk about it later. We've also got Jason Roller, DDEX76, Muha228. Don't know what pon means, but it means hello then. Hello. We've got me, Bitjo VF1J. We've got the Mercenary Terror, Lord Avix. And sorry if I sound a bit nasally. I'm literally just getting over that cold from last week. Now it's been a full week of it. We've got Penny Lancaster, another of my members as well. Good to see you. Carnage Mac, alright, as well. Another member, Chris Harmon. Thanks for being a member. We've got Chip Cox as well. We've got a lot of chatter. We've got Spencer394 as well. Yeah, I was a bit shocked that they released the new titles today's stream, but I did know they were coming, so it wasn't a surprise. Kristen Jones as well. We've got Smoke Cheese, one of my fellow Horde members. Was kind of. We'll talk about it later. We've got Hellraiser as well. We've got Randall Hamilton. Good to see you as well. We've got Ben. Just Ben. Good to see you, buddy. We've got Cyber Inferno, another of my members as well. Good to see you. We've got Dojak as well. Thanks for joining, buddy. We've got Matt Poehler, we've got Zachary Roberts as well. We've got Joker with the clutch, and I think that is everyone. Apologies if I missed anyone off, but I think we got everyone. Cool. Let's see what people are talking about. Obviously, Titans is a big talking point in the chat, obviously. I don't know if you noticed as well in the stream, they were using my account for some weird reason, but it's not my test account, it's my old test account. So what happened was a bit of a backstory to explain that. Was when they were making raids, they asked a lot of top players to come and join it, and I nearly lost my head because I didn't get invited to it. And I was like, what? One of your content creators is not getting invited to it? How am I going to cover this? This is ridiculous. And literally said, oh, we were doing content for last. I was like, I bet you were. But yeah, we did get an invite. And that's about, I bet there was a good 200 odd people, top players in that chat, testing raids. And so we had that base right the way up to, I think maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And then for some reason, they need to upgrade our base. And so they, when Dale sort of took over as community manager, they took our current bases from live and took it into test server and copied it. Just because a lot of us didn't have certain bots and certain things, so they copied it over, and that sort of overwritten what I thought was just overwritten my old base. But apparently not. It was quite weird actually to see my old design. That was my own design as well. So really strange to go and see my own design from years ago, my old test account. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, it was in the stream, so go and check that out. But yeah, I think it is working now. The drop frames are going right the way down, so I think it's working. Didn't know if we were making the transition or not. I know, sorry. That's another story which we'll talk about. The stream started skipping when you started. Yeah, I think you mean with the waiting screen. Then yeah. What's everyone saying about the stream, about the time? Let's have a look. Keep as it is. Oh, Zachary Roberts is Fuzzy the Horse. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, Smoke Cheese says the 5th is where your clocks change. So, yeah, about a week later. That's not too bad. The new way works. Okay, we'll keep it as it is, I think, then, yeah. Steve Pierce, how's it going? New subscriber and new subscriber and new player here. Good to see you, buddy. Go and check out the channel. Loads of info in there, literally. So again, we'll talk about that in a second. Oh, Simon Hayes as well, and Tony B. Thanks for joining. Candyman as well. Steve Pierce put currently level 13, but wondering how to get into a decent alliance to actually engage in wars and events. So there's a couple ways you could do that, Steve. Is basically trial and error. Just try and find a good alliance. But what you'll generally find is an alliance that has high expectations normally is high engaged. The ones that have low expectations are quite low engaged. But if you really want to get in a decent alliance, I'd go and check out one of the bigger families. So I'd go and check out, I don't think Horde have anything that low, but I know that G1 have plenty of alliances. I know Scorch have plenty of alliances. So yeah, they'll probably have somewhere around that for you, and I'd go and join one of them families because you can move up and down depending on how well you do. And so I'd go and look at the big families, G1 and Scorched, in terms of size, not in terms of like, you know, the best ones and whatever war scores. I'm talking about size. But yeah, seen a few drop frames again, so I don't know what's causing that. So apologies. Charlie Plays, you're not late, you're just on time. Don't worry. Cool. Okay, so I've got a newsletter. I've got to do a quick change around, but give me a second. Cool. So this weekend's event is called To the Bitter End, and we are in week 3 or week 7, whichever way you want to call it, of the saga. So this weekend's event is a kind of Halloween sort of event as such, and do you like the poster? That's pretty cool. Wish I would have used that for my actual screensaver now rather than one I used, but it's still pretty cool. But it's an individual event just for 10 prestiges, and I'm going to sneeze any minute, so apologies. There we go. And you can get 10 or 30 chests, let's just say that much. And then some 4-star shards, 3-star shards, premium shards, and usual spark and stuff like that as well. 1,000 points per prestige, so yeah, 10k event. And in that box, you can either get a power core, which is pretty woeful, 20k spark, which is alright, or a 50% chance at 5-star shards. So that's pretty cool. So if you are getting 10 of each box, then you should probably get 5 of those. That's 150 5-star shards and 150 5-star combat shards, which is not too bad. And then you'll probably get 3 of each of them, 60k spark, 3 bot power cores, 3 building power cores, 60k combat spark, and then it's 25 of each of these. So you'll probably get 2 or 3 of these, so 20 or 60k combiner spark, a few G metal power cores and gold ones. So pretty cool. Oh no, not bad, not bad. Normal battle zones apply. Another cool background, I like that one as well. And then Black Friday survey. This was, I don't know, I did this survey, and it said Black Friday, like, what bot would you rather see? And I was like, none, really. I just want good value. If the bundles are good value, then I'll buy some bundles, but only if they're good value. They could put the best 5 bots in the game for me personally. The best 5 bots in the game, but if they're the same value that we're getting now in bundles, then I'm not going to bother. So they need to be good value. And let's just say I hope Dinogate happens a bit. Because I might spend some decent money on it. But, yes. But yeah, go and fill out the survey, guys, because it's not just about Black Friday, but they also cover about what you want to see in there. They also cover like what we think of the game and things like that. And go and be honest. You know, don't sort of beat around the bush. Always tell them your opinion, whether you like it, whether you don't. Don't just agree with me. Go and give them your opinion, and that is what to me. And that is what we'll decide on what happens with the survey and where they go. So war effects. So we're going to talk a bit about that later, but my opinions on it. But yes, a bit on war effects later. Winter skin competitions. I'm doing a competition in which you can create a skin for Sentius Magnus and Sentius Malus. I did mention on the stream a candy cane. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully some decent skins for Christmas. I should do this more often, really. I think. You could say that the Starscream Ghost is a one themed around Halloween. They made a big deal out of that, but I think they should have made a bigger deal out of it. But yeah, it's good to have some sort of skins like that. I do like that. Pretty cool. And then if you cast your mind back to around a few months back, we talked about this new player loyalty reward system and for the VIPs, and we sort of talked about how it was encouraging people to spend excessively and things like that, and the tiers were ridiculous. I think one of the tiers went to like $1,000 something. And I said it was absolutely mental, and there was a lot of pushback from the community to Space Ape, and so Space Ape sort of relinquished and said, you know, okay, yeah, maybe it was a bit too optimistic, or you know, whatever, a bit too high, so we're gonna reduce it. So I was like, yeah, well done. So you know, it was a good move from them to do that. And then they came out and then brought into the chat a thing about gambling, how you need to gamble safely and not overspend. I was like, well, that's a bit of a contradiction, considering just not too long ago you were sort of encouraging people to spend $1,000 to reach a certain tier. You know, it's mental that you're going to spend $1,000 in a month on a game. Let's be honest. I know people do, but I think that's just mental. But you know, I don't think you need to reward people to $1,000. It's madness. So they've increased more tiers, which I'm not too displeased about. But I just feel like they're sort of like creeping back in, trying to increase their maximum tiers. And I'm going to make a bit of prediction. So they've got these tiers now of tier 1 to 5. And I think they're going to add tiers 6, 7, and 8 eventually. And I think they're going to add up to like $500 and $700, something like that. Which is just, all they're basically doing is doing what they wanted to do before, but doing it in smaller increments, so it sort of goes under the radar a bit. And I hope not, but I hope that's not the case. But obviously, depending on your spend, it now goes up But now what they've done is rather than just the $10 spend and the $100 spend, they've sort of put something in between that now. So go check out your content creators as always, guys. And as I said, week 7 of the saga, and then we have got endurance next weekend. So let me know in the chat, what are you doing in for endurance? Are you going for the 5-star? Are you going for the 4-star? Are you just going to try and get as many points as possible and try and get some 5-star shards? Let me know in the chat. Then we've got some cool drawings as always. And then bug fixes. Let's have a look at this one. Interesting. So, Strike. They fix an issue with the hack usually not working. Really frustrating for me for a few reasons, which again we'll talk a bit about later as well. Windstreaker Baru. There were stuck issues that resolved. The English is really poor on this. I'm not sure who's took over the newsletter, but it just makes no sense. Stuck issues resolved. What stuck issues? Like, you know, elaborate on that. You know, because if I go in the game right now and I want to see that it's fixed, I don't even know what was wrong in the first place. I don't really use Windstreak and Baru that much. So, you know, put in there, you know, Windstreak and Baru was causing bots to freeze, was it? Was it the bot, the combat wasn't working? The combat, I don't know. I just don't know what was wrong with it. Laser Optimus and the Mark of Megatron, stuck issues resolved. Minions getting stuck resolved. Minions getting stuck where? On the ability when you use it? A bit like Topspin was? I don't know. Stuck case related to Bash Breaker caused by one of his attacks. It's so poor. The flag now makes it so he no longer causes bots equipment to be stuck, as they will no longer target aerial targets. The flag? What flag? I don't even understand that. And then stuck cases, like stuck cases fixed for Zord, but Slugfest, Roller Force, and Bash Breaker. I didn't even know they were broken, so don't know. Makes no sense to me. But it's good they are fixing bugs. But again, we'll talk a bit about that later as well. So yeah, cool. And that is the news. So let's have a look in the chat. What everyone's put in. Penny Lancaster, I put in my survey, no Dino Gate. I want Dino Gate. I did really well from that. 4 times value like last year. Yeah, but 4 times the current value needs to be. Yeah. And granted, bad good value means Dino Gate. I would not be opposed to that. Let's have a look. Zachary Roberts, 3 5-star shards. Well, usually do bundles like that, don't they? Normally, you don't do bundle where you buy a bundle limited time and you get 5-star shards in it. So yeah, but if you are going to buy bundles, it's probably the time for Black Friday. Normally, it's good value, but I'll always cover it. So don't worry, guys. I will be covering it. You know if it's good value or not. Chris Allen, I think they should give us like 200k everything, 200 chests and 75 crystals. Yeah, but what price point? For $100, you mean? Tony B's going for the 5-star. Cool. Chris Harmon, in it for profits. Don't do this for free. True, but you don't need to milk people though. There's a difference, isn't there? Grant, I'll go for the 5-star for both accounts. Cool. Chris Taylor, still going to keep buying the battle pass. Yeah, it's the best value in the game, isn't it? Definitely. Spencer, my alliance isn't really strong enough, but can get the 3-star. Don't forget, Spencer, you can merc out. There are teams out there that will merc and say, listen, we want players to help us get whatever points. So you can merc. And I've also said that, you know, both ways that, you know, if you are going merking, then be honest with them and say, listen, I'm going merking, I'll be back. Or listen, I'm going merking, after it, I won't be back. And make your mind up. And then your alliance should be honest with you, you know, and you know, and say, listen, are you going merking or are you actually coming back to the alliance afterwards or not? You know, it's an honest conversation, you know, and be honest with them. Simple. Simon Inferno, proofreading's been a cluster for quite a while, yeah. Yeah, Penny Lancaster's got a good point. There's a difference between being in it for profit and being in it to take advantage of people. Yeah, true. Um, Charlie plays Daniel Gate, but no snitching. Yeah. Grinds out. Another Daniel Gate is the only thing that will get me buying this year. I say, yeah. Why was it called Dino Gate? Because the Dinobot crystals were giving. Was it 50 times the value? I think something like that. 50 times the value, not 4 times. It might have been 40 times even, but yeah, something mad. Yeah. Um, Dino Gate was epic, Tony B's, but it was. Um, yes, I'm fair enough there. Yeah, as long as you do what you're gonna say you're gonna do, it's great. Yeah, go on, mate. Go and do the points you say you're gonna do. Come back to your alliance and make them stronger. Yeah, cool. It was scandalous, Grindtime. It was. Okay, cool. Let's go into the game, guys. So, as always, we are on the test server, and I still get people saying to me, Wozza, how have you got so many coins? They're not real coins, guys. Yeah, it's part of a test server. So, I only have them coins just so I can buy whatever I want very quickly. So, if I need something, I can just go in the shop and go, yeah, I'll have that for 1 energy on. They're cool. I got 5 million combats back, but it's a test server. It's not linked to global. If you look at the ranking, look at the alliances, look. None of the normal alliances. You might recognize some of them, but you can see there that none of the normal alliances are in there. It's tier psyops, but you look at tier psyops and look, it's not. So, yeah, it's a test server, guys. But yeah, first thing on the list is the new war effects. So let me know your opinion in the chat. If you know what the war effects are, if you're a Prime League hard mode player especially. What do you think of the new war effects? So the new war effects are an extra 10% damage from fire, which explode and cause fire in an area. Electric plus 10% extra damage to electric bots, and the electric spreads to nearby defenses. The combiner has an extra 25% health, I think it is 50% health, something like that it is. An outpost extra 10%. I believe that the HP is being reduced from 30% extra HP and DPS in Prime League hard mode to 25%. And obviously that is being reduced down slightly throughout the leagues. And when this sort of got announced in playtest, so for those that are aware, not aware, so about a week or two ago now, I decided to step down from Horde. And this is nothing on Horde whatsoever. Horde have been brilliant. And if I decide to go back to top level wars, Horde is the place I will be going. I had a few guys from G1 hit me up saying, everything alright, you know, if you want to. I thought, oh, listen, it's nothing to do with Horde at all. I will go back to Horde in a heartbeat if that's what I wanted, and that is where I will go if I decide to come back. But the reason that I left was not even anything to do with Horde, not even anything to do with the game as such. It was down to direction of the game. And I'm just not happy at the minute with the direction that the apes are going in, and I sort of took a bit of a step back from playtest as well. And the reason being is that there's a lot of things in this game that need addressing, in my opinion, and I've been for a while. And I went a bit of a rant in Cybertron, and I need to stop really doing that really, because I get into sort of a bit of a discussion with Dale, and I just don't think it's good for the community to sort of see me doing that. But obviously it's because I feel so, you know, so strongly about the game, want the game to carry on and do well. You know, I've got probably more invested than most people in terms of, you know, not just being a high level player and the money invested and the time invested over the years I've been playing it, but the YouTube channel obviously depends on that. You know, my channel depends on this game succeeding and striving. The more it does, then the better my channel. But even in regards to YouTube, I want the game to do well and be enjoyable. And so when they announced these war effects, I said, well, what's the aim of these effects? Are they to make the game easier? Are they to make the game a bit harder? Are they simply just to make the game a bit different. And Dale was sort of like, well, none really. It's just something a bit refreshing. We need some war effects. And I said, well, I don't think some of the top players want war effects. I don't think they need war effects. What the top players want is relevant content coming out between bots and combats. Something fresh in terms of wars. Something fresh in terms of events. Something fresh in terms of midweek. Some different game modes. Because let's be honest, Zen farming is very frustrating and very mundane. And wars have got to a point where they're probably the most balanced they've ever been in terms of difficulty. No one's really hitting above 11k apart from G1 Psyops, who are getting just above that. But everyone's hitting around 11k-ish. So I think they're very well balanced wars at the minute. In terms of events, it's the same event structure every single week for the same resources. And some of them resources now no one needs as such. And people are waiting for them to be released. For example, the new Prime Cores. So these Prime Cores have been saving up, and I've got enough to pull, I think, 5 Prime Cores out of the last, I think it's 4 or 5. And they need to release these Prime Cores. You know, we're doing these Prime Cores events, and we're like, well, what for? Where's these new Prime Cores? Now, when the new Prime Cores come out, yes, it will raise the difficulty. No doubt about it. But people will adapt quite quickly. And there's nothing wrong with reducing the effectiveness at the time, but in the time being, they've not mentioned these effects are coming anytime soon. They're not in testing ever, even. And so right now, if they're going to reduce the HP and DPS from 30 to 25%, that is going to make wars easier. And I don't know why they're messing with that at all. Why reduce down to 25 now? Wars were fine. Wars were balanced more than anything. They were working fine. And then when Dale came out and said, yeah, they're going to do 10% extra damage, I was a bit like, 10%? It's not going to make much difference. Because my Bumblebee now does 10% extra damage, that is not going to make me want to use him more. I already use Sea Spray. So all that's done is it's made Sea Spray more relevant and more powerful. So it's made my team more powerful. I've got Sitsgun who has fire. I've got Sea Spray who has electric. It's made my team more powerful. Made them 2 bots 10% more damage. It's also made defenses weaker. So you understand that it's just made wars easier. And I don't understand why they're messing with that. There's 101 things they could probably do to improve this game. And they don't need to mess with wars. But for the last 18 months, they've been saying there's going to be a war rework. Where is this war rework? Oh, we've found some bugs. But then they can spend 9-10 months creating a new Titan behind the scenes. They can spend a year doing Alliance HQ, which was pretty much a failure. And there's just so many things for me that lack insight and lack direction. And it seems like that the direction and the effort is in the wrong place. You know, and because they're trying new things, and I appreciate that they're trying to push boundaries. It is good to see that. Although Retgar, with his bugs, they are trying new things, but they tend to, because they're not fixing old bugs, it tends to find that it's like 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. And there's just too many things in playtest, for me, that don't need to be addressed. And one of those is one of the bots, which I'm going to talk about later, and talk a bit about that again and touch upon it. But I don't know. I'm just not happy in playtest right now. It's not because of the quality of the bots. The bots have been good, if I'm honest with you. I think the combats have been good recently. It's not the quality of that content. It's doing things that don't need to be fixed, like Top Shot. Top Shot didn't need to be fixed. Top Shot was fine. Top Shot one of the best combats in the game, and they fixed him. You know, Skids didn't need to be fixed, and they fixed him. Then there was Sidetrack. Sidetrack was looking fine, and then they fixed him. You know, there's so many fixes that they do that don't need fixing, but there's things that do need fixing that they don't bother with, and that's the annoying thing, really. And so I said, listen, I'm kind of done with this for now. I'm kind of done with these high-level wars, high-level gameplay. If they're going to do this with wars, then I want no part of this, basically, until wars are a bit more balanced again and are actually... Because that's what I look forward to every day, is a good war and a tight war. Not a race to 12,000 points. And Dale said, oh, that's not going to happen. If it does, we'll make adjustments. they can't make adjustments for a bug, and it takes them 2 or 3 weeks to make adjustments. They're going to need 2 or 3 weeks of data before they even do that. So if wars are easier, it's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks of data, and then it's probably going to take them 2 or 3 weeks to balance it in playtest. So you're talking January before they actually fix it. It's going to get harder again if it is easier. So, I don't agree with this sort of like, mentality of making the game easier. Wars have never been so balanced. And I know that lower players may look at it and go, it helps lower players out. That's okay, but, you can still war at your league. That's that. You don't need to step up a league. And the top players got nowhere else to go. And I know we have this discussion in playtest every time. And people say, what to create another league? Yeah, but all that does is push everyone else up. Because if you create another league, which is Unicron League, whatever you want to call it, that gets better rewards, then everyone's going to want to get in there, regardless. The loser rewards will be better than the Prime League Hard Mode rewards, so everyone's going to push into there, and then lower players are going to push into Prime League Hard Mode. And then at the top, if no one does push in there, then it's going to increase the times of waiting for a match. So this Unicron League, the Unicron tournaments are fine, but this Unicron League is a no-go. And even Yanis said that it's not going to happen. Prime League Hard Mode is the pinnacle of the game, and that will always be the case. That is the top league. Cybertron is the standard the game is balanced at. And Prime League Hard Mode is for those players wanting extra. And so when you get too many players or too many teams playing at that level, you kind of know the game's too easy. And right now, I think the balance is kind of there. But they'll keep going on about, we've never had so many players. And I go, yeah, but not at the top level. Even the top alliances struggle to fill. And I remember back in the day, you had 20 I'd say, alliances that were difficult to beat. That you could, maybe swing either way. Now you're looking at 4 or 5. And that's dwindled over the years a lot. I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, excuse me. And so, wars are fine. Wars didn't need messing with. But if we are going to look at it, though, and we're going to look at how it's going to operate. If we look at some of the bots. So currently, let's take Sea Spray, for example. I mean, it's hard to sort of judge Sea Spray because it does 2,000 damage, but it doesn't do 2,000 damage to a target because his tornado goes slower. So it actually does about 7 or 8k damage. So now he's going to do 7,700 damage or 8,800 damage, whatever it is. Even if you put a VM on, that's roughly what it does. He 2-shots most defenses. But with this 10% buff, he's still going to 2%. He's still going to 2-shot defenses. It's not going to make any difference to Sea Spray. You can make him a bit more viable, a bit more damage, but it's not going to make him 1-shot. He's still going to 2-shot. And then when you look at like Bumblebee, so Bumblebee does 600 damage per second. 66% that, sorry, so it's like, about 400 for 12, just about 6k damage. So again, Bumblebee pretty much 2-shots, most defenses, but that's over 24 seconds. So, but you know what, even looking at that, I'm not sure if it is Bumblebee because it's an EMP, it's not electrical damage. So they did say that EMP is not electrical damage either. So then I don't think even Bumblebee will do extra damage. Then you got sort of Silverbolt, so that is electrical damage. But because it's damage over time, Silverbolt's okay, he's not bad, but it's not going to make him relevant all of a sudden. And I was sort of going through bots like this. Snarl is fire. It's not going to make Snarl relevant all of a sudden. 6-gun, already the best gunner in the game, just made him like 10% better. Why? He didn't need it. Slingshot has got better. Probably will do about 9k damage now, so... but I still don't think that's made him crazy relevant, where it's going to be 10% going to make him absolutely unbelievable and more viable than what he's already. Star Saber electrical damage 10% is not going to make him viable, really. Optimus is EMP. Laser Ops is not going to affect him. So all these sort of things where EMP is not going to count, and those bots that are doing electrical damage either don't do enough as it is already or already do enough. There's no one that's going to make really that relevant all of a sudden. And so I don't know what this 10% extra buff is gonna do, really, if I'm honest. So bit of a strange one, bit of a weird one, these buffs. But we'll see how they go. Like I said, not me personally, but I'll get some feedback. But ultimately, from the sounds of it, they have made wars easier on the whole. Is that in preparation for the next phase of the HU18? Maybe. Maybe a bit too early. But we will wait and see for these war effects. And hit me up and let me know on Discord if you like the war effects or not. And how you're finding wars. Are you finding them easier? Are 300 easier to come by? So yeah, let me know. And I just want to touch upon that. I've literally just dropped down to a Gold League Alliance, and that was just by chance. If I'm honest with you, so I was literally just in the Discord chat for new players, and sometimes go in there, give a bit of advice, and say this is good, this is not. Don't bother with that, whatever else. And then I was just talking to one guy about some random things, and then someone popped in the chat and just said, oh my God, I would love for you to come and join my alliance, or I could be in the same alliance as you one day. And I said, well, let's do it then. I'll come over for a bit if you want me to. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And it kind of made his day. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe Wozza sort of in there. And, I like to sort of make people's day like that. If I could do something like that, just to cheer that person up for that day, then yeah, fair enough. I just went in there just to cheer him up. That was it. And the idea was to go in there for a day and then come back and then have a talk with somebody, with some advice and stuff. So then I've been there for a few days. And I think I'm going back to Horde hopefully for the endurance event, for the 4-star at least. And then we'll see what happens after that. But it was good sort of just, ask them their opinion on the game and things like that, and give some advice and see what they're struggling with and, get some feedback to maybe give to the apes on what those kind of players need within the game. But one thing they did ask me was, what's the best way on defense to sort of deal with gunners? Because they find that obviously you've got a lot of defenses that hit obviously the frontline tanks, but how do you actually hit gunners? And simple solution basically is depending on your core choice. And I've talked to them about this in the chat and said that, and I say this quite a bit, that there's Prime League bases and there's Prime League bases. Now you can come up against a base that has all G metal cores, but if you've got armor cores and you've got attack cores, you're not really completely maxed out. Yes, you are, but they're not the best cores for those defenses. Especially when you see like an attack core on, I don't know, a turret or something, or on a mortar. There's a lot better options. And I think personally, I've sort of found the best core choices, and I've got certain reasons for that. So the first choice, and that's why I was looking at that to explain that, was guided missiles for your missile launchers. And the reason missile launchers and guided missiles are so good is because it targets a single target. So when you actually hit an attack core, it kind of spreads the damage over an area, and that's why they're not very good, and that's why you want that in guided missiles. So it doesn't always look onto a gunner, but if it does, it's going to do a lot of damage very, very quickly. And then next up is putting your beam lasers to the side of your map, and it kind of helps a lot, because if you put them very wide on the map and people walk through, and then especially if you have a funnel system, you'll find that the beam lasers will hit the bot at the back more than the bots that are at the front. So if you put your beam lasers at the front like this, you'll find that they hit your tanks. And if you're trying to do that, trying to eliminate the tanks as fast as possible to then kill the gunners, nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to target gunners specifically, then you're better off putting the likes of your beam lasers somewhere like this. At the sides of the map, and as your bots walk up, they'll target the nearest bots, which could be a gunner to the side. Keep that in mind. But the one biggest way to sort of combat gunners, and this is at any level, is having target protocol on your mortars without a doubt, because this prioritizes gunners and medics, and it increases the attack range. So as your bots get closer to these, they will overhit your tanks and aim for your gunners and medics. The damage is reduced to 94% or 95%, but it's very, very minimal. And so you find that the target protocols, mortars ×4, do a lot of damage to gunners. So keep that in mind, guys, that they are probably the most OP core in terms of gunners and medics. So we really need to be aware of when you're attacking a base. So yeah, guided missiles. Try again. Guided missiles. Definitely a must. Beam laser to the side, but the most important way to defend against gunners is definitely using target protocol cores on your mortars. And I'd even go as far as saying you're probably better having a gold target protocol than a G metal incendiary on your mortars. So yeah, go and change your cores around, guys, to those, and it will help you a lot on your defense. Cool. Oh, back in 1 minute, guys. I need to blow my nose because it's really full. Cool. There we are. We're back. So much better. What else? Next on the list. So next on the list is the new Titans. So I do need to just switch over screens for this. Let's have a look at the new Titans. So as I said earlier, today in the Space Ape official stream, they announced the new Titans coming to the game. Now this was no secret. We announced this a good maybe 4 or 5 months ago on my channel, that the new Titans would be the Ark and the Nemesis. Now Nemesis is a Decepticon ship, which obviously never had a name back in the G1 cartoon, I don't think. But now it's been given a name just for the sake of being a Titan. That is the Nemesis. So let's take a look at them being shown in the stream. And there we are. That is the Ark. So they have said that nothing has been set yet in terms of abilities, things like that. So in terms of, you know, you can sort of analyze this stream and really look at it, but those things could change. They could be just placeholders, so don't worry too much, guys. Don't look at the HP and the damage, things like that. Those things are all ready to change. Now, opinions on this, very cool. And I always say about this that, you know, when you look at Titans, they're always cool. You always look and go like, whoa, this is absolutely amazing. And it really is. But is it going to change the game? No, don't think it is. And the Ape sort of talked about balance in terms of the Titans and talked about a rock, paper, scissors, where something will beat something. So rock obviously beats scissors, scissors beat paper, paper beats rock. And they said this is what they want from the Titans. They want one to beat the other, one to beat that one, and that one to beat the first one. But the problem being with that is that's making it so that all are equal in some way. And that's not the case. Yes, Fort Max has its benefits. Yes, Metroplex has its benefits, but are they going to make Metroplex better than the Ark in some way? I just can't see it personally. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But the big thing that they talked about was that the 5-star will be coming next year, and that's what I'm really worried about in terms of balance, because we have 4-star Titans in the game right now that can do Zone 15 solo, pretty much. What's the 5-star going to do? Zone 16 solo? Is that where it's going to go? So it's a bit worrying, really, that these 5-star Titans are so powerful. And if they're not powerful, then why have a 5-star Titan? And the other thing that I'm worried about is that the HP of these Titans will probably go up as they become a 5-star. At the minute, I could normally finish a battle in about 2.5 minutes. And by that point, my Titan then is just about dying. So if they become 5-stars, does that mean that the Titans are going to last the entire battle? And so if they are going to last the entire battle, then they're going to have no say on the battle at all, in terms of how they're going to have an impact. So I'm very worried for the 5-star Titans, if I'm honest with you, on what they're going to do for the game. But this does mean that... Oh, mute the replay, sorry.
Let's see.
There we go. I think that's done it. Apologies. So the problem being is that we've got to do Titan Assault all over again. And that's what worries me. That we have to do Titan Assault again. It's so boring. It's so boring. Please. Please, please, please don't make us do Titan Assault all over again. I can't handle that again, honestly. I did it for Metroplex because it's something new. I did it just about until I completed Fort Max and then stopped as soon as I could. And I don't really want to go through it again. I really don't. Now, again, they look really cool. Yes, Nemesis looks cool. The art looks cool. Can't deny that one bit. It is really cool. But you have to ask how relevant they're going to be in the game, and that's what I'm a bit worried about. And I said to Dale, I said, I think Titans or Titan Tech Tree or both together is probably the biggest failure in this game for what they could have done. They could have been absolutely amazing. They could have been game changing, and they have probably changed the game in some ways. In terms of events, not so events. In terms of like raid resourcing, it's got a lot easier. No one plays this game for raiding resources. It's events, it's wars. In wars, it's now become a distraction, if I'm honest with you, and not much of an impact on wars. You can't use them in events, you can't use them in Zen, and so they're a bit of a bystander outside of that. So we'll have to wait and see, but they should be coming out maybe November this year, hopefully. Take another look at them. So we're probably talking next month. So from what they've said is we're going to get them in playtest over the next month. They'll be balanced in terms of Metroplex and Fort Max. I don't think I'm going to bother balancing them because I don't believe in them. I don't think they're going to be good for the game, so I'm not going to bother, I don't think. But we'll have to wait and see when they come out. But as always, we will cover it on the channel step by step. So yeah, if you want to have a like inside info of the Titans, sneak peeks, things like that, then yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, and never miss another stream and never miss any new information. But don't forget as well that some of these things I give exclusively to my members. So if you want it hot off the press, guys, then consider becoming a member. Let's have a look what people are sort of saying. Penny Lancaster, I'll let the wife do Titan Assault. That's not a bad idea. But if I hold a shard converter, not going to happen. Not a chance. Alpha Transport, no more Titan stuff, please. I know. Charlie plays, I haven't even completed Fort Max. I'm lazy. It's just boring. Matt Pauly really couldn't bother Fort Max. In for level 20 upgrade, now way behind. Similar to me, to be fair. Charlie plays Titan Assault is fun for the first 5 minutes. Yeah, I probably agree with that. Yeah. Penny Lancaster, it's rinse and repeat. You attack a base with the Titan until you can't beat one at your level. Oh, right, yes, explain it. Yeah. Very, very mundane. Very, very boring. If you think any other game mode in this game is boring, wait until you have played Titan Assault. Yeah, Candyman just something there. Said, so weird watching the Ark hovering while the other Ark is still in the building. Yeah, well, the apes said that they've rebuilt the Ark, and that's why they got 2. So, I'll give them that. Fair point. Cool. Let's go back to the game. Okay, buffs. So, quite excited to announce this. This is something I've been fighting for a long time, and also part of the reason why I sort of quit playtesting certain things and the frustrations, because I fought for this for a long time. And I sort of explained in my stream last week, and I said, why don't we give some class buffs to certain classes, 2 fire, 2 electric, and someone said in playtest, yeah, but so all I was going to make is the better bots better, and the medium range bots still medium range bots, mediocre bots. And they kind of got a point. I was like, you know what, I've got to concede that you're right, you've got a better angle than me on that, and that's why we're talking playtest. Because someone might say, "Listen, I actually think this," and you're like, "Yeah, well, I agree with that, or I don't agree with it, whatever." But I was like, I can see that's a good point. So I said to Dale, I said, rather than doing this 10% fire damage, actually, what we've got in wars, why don't we just buff certain bots? Plain and simple. And we sort of got talking between ourselves on how we should do this. Should we use the 5 least used bots in the game, but we don't have them usage rates they do? Should we just go by batch by batch? That was my idea, to go from batch 1 and batch 2 and pick 5 from them. Do batch 3 and batch 4, pick 5 from them. Do 5 and 6, pick 5 from them. And then probably at 6 I'd stop. From batch 7 onwards, all the batches are really good. You can't really go wrong. But I think batch 1 to 6 we're too cautious with. And we were all talking about this, and then Dale came in the chat and said, right, I've got it. These are the 5 bots we're going to work on. And those 5 bots are Grimlock and Razorclaw. It's Slash and Rippersnapper. It's Skydive and Skywarp. It's Nose Cone. Yes, he's getting a bit of a rework. Is it... Who's Nose Cone's... Oh, I've gone. It's gone. I can look in Discord dead quick and get it. Let's have a look at it. It's gonna really annoy me. It's gonna really annoy me now. Drillhorn! Nose Cone and Drillhorn. Nose Cone and Drillhorn. And then the other bot is Trailbreaker and Exhaust as well. All getting a bit of a rework. So, in terms of... Let's have a look at Trailbreaker first. So have a look at Trailbreaker. So I've not really used Trailbreaker that much. I'm not a big fan, if I'm honest with you. But let's have a look what they've done with Trailbreaker and what they are doing, what we're trying to do with Trailbreaker. If I can find him. There he is. Cool. Let's put Skydive in. I never do this enough. There we go. Let's put Skydive in. And let's put... I can't... The only one I can't show really is Nose Cone. At the minute. He's getting quite a bit of rework and it needs a lot of work. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. And then we're going to have Grimlock. Cool. And there is a bit of a... There's been a bit of a clue in there somewhere, which I don't know if people have cottoned onto or not. But in terms of Trailbreaker, let's put him down and put Skydive down. And so the idea is that his radius has increased on his shield to cover more. So I believe this is going to get even bigger than what it is. This is the feedback that we've got from the team right now. So hopefully it can kind of cover your team more. So wherever the central is, it will be a lot bigger. Skydive's had a range increase, as you can see there. And this is what really annoyed me, was that they give Skydive and give Skywarp a range increase. But why? I don't think anyone, if I said to some people, give me 5 or 10 bots or 15, 20 bots that need buff, I don't think anyone would have said Skywarp or Skydive. Because they do acid. And then they talked about a cost decrease as well. And I was like, what is going on? Like, they don't need a cost decrease. They don't need a range increase. All they need is a 5-star and a G1 core that is relevant. That's all they need. They didn't need a buff. And the buffing bots that didn't need it. And for me, there's bots out there that definitely did need it. Like the likes of Lightspeed, like the likes of Pyromagna, like Slug. Oh my god, the list can go on. Power Glide. There's so many bots out there that could have done with a decent buff. And yet they've chose Skydive. And I think even with the buff, even with the cost decrease, even with the range increase, he'll probably still be used by the guys that use him right now. Because the guys that don't use him are probably the guys that have all the 5-stars and don't really use 4-star bots. And they're going to use SG Jetfire anyway because he kills defenses faster. So why bother with Skywarp? And why bother with Skydive? I just don't see the point at all. Trailbreaker, yep, I get. There's been quite a few complaints about Trailbreaker since the game was, since he was brought out. And I agree with that. Yeah, so fair play. Someone's just put in the chat, Dust Up needs a buff. Yes, Dust Up. There's so many bots out there that could have done with a buff. Yet they've chose Skydive. And that was my frustration, that they don't even know their own game. And when I went in the chat, I was like, why Skydive? He does the highest damage out of all the jets minus SG Jetfire, but he's a 4-star. And even Dale said, no, he doesn't. I was like, yes, he does. All right, you got Silbot, so 20 odd seconds though. But yes, he does. And Dale said that he does the same damage as Jetfire. I was like, oh my god, no, he doesn't. He really doesn't. Skydive does more than Jetfire. I'm not sure where we got a figure from. But it just worries me. They don't even know their own game. And what I would do is Skydive. I don't even know. It's so weird. But then we've got Slash. Slash is getting a range increase, as you can see there. Really good increase in range, which will get him up the map faster. Will this make him a warbot? Ultimately, no. I tried. Guys, I tried. It was so difficult. I was playing against Texas base on the test server, and I tried. And then I finally kind of got her into a place where I might be able to take out the HU-18 with enough ability points. And even with Buzz Strike, she got hacked. And then I was like, nah, I'm done. Because with Slash, you either need Megatronus or a G1, depending on what you want to do. If you want to do damage in an area, you definitely want Megatronus. If you want to do damage to just one target, then probably the G1, but I still think Megatronus is better. So because of that, because you need that extra damage, you can't have Liege, and she would always get hacked. And so as soon as Buzz Strike came out, and I knew they were buffing Slash, I was like, you could maybe slash some bases here. If you're clever about it, if you're careful, it could probably happen. And it took me maybe 10, 15 attempts to get her in position. And then she got hacked. I was like, she's got Buzz Strike on. And obviously it's a glitch in the game. So at that point, I was like, I give up now. I give up. So I still don't think she'll be a relevant warbot. Sadly, I still think she needs even more range if that's the case. But that will make her really, really powerful. Or do we need a cost decrease maybe? But again, I've kind of given up on this again as well. Because if they're willing to do all that for Skydive, and make him relevant, and I don't think Slash needs a massive rework, just a range increase, maybe a cost decrease of 1 repeat use. But does that make her OP? I don't know. But be some good changes to Trailbreaker, no doubt. There'll be some good changes to Skydive, whether you think it's warranted or not, and some good changes to Slash and Ripper Snapper, regardless. Then the last one we come to is Grimlock. So Grimlock, his damage has been reduced. I know people are going to go, what? I thought you were just saying, Wozza, that we're buffing bots. But I think finally they've given in and listened, and they are going to make Grimlock a warrior. So he's going to have a massive 47k health. But we do know that because there is a balancing scale between health and damage. So he has been given a 47k health buff, which is crazy. But now only does 520 DPS and only 4k damage in an area. When we sort of tested this with about 7k damage, it was too OP, guys. Basically, he was charging in, he was pretty much invulnerable, and he was two-shotting half a map. And it was crazy. I know a lot of people have fought for Grimlock to get a buff for this warrior buff, but it was never going to be a straight warrior buff of health and keep the same damage. So his damage is going to be reduced, but he is going to get a buff. So let's have a look at him. So we put Grimlock down. We charge him in. And there we go. And he gets the same shield there as Pipes, but obviously for not as long. But his survivability has gone up incredible amounts. The shield to the defenses is wrong, by the way. A bit of a glitch right now. And we're currently looking into obviously fixing that. But yes, Grimlock, as you can see there, rushes in. There we go, gets his shield. And then does 4k damage in an area. So very, very glad that Grimlock is getting a kind of buff. The buff that everyone has asked for, but it comes at consequences. So what do you guys think? Do you think that 47k health and a shield, obviously which is part of his G1, it's not part of a buff, it's just part of his G1 that he gets that anyway. But 47k health and 4.5k damage, have they got the balance right? Have they gone too much health-wise? Should he have a lot of damage still, but with reduced health? He can't have both, guys. He's got to have high health and low damage. Somewhere in the middle, or somewhere the other way. Now, before, I think he had high damage and low health, which was a glass cannon. And I think they were gone that way. So, do we meet in the middle? Do we want high health on Grimlock? Let me know. But obviously, making him a warrior gives him that health buff that we need. We've also slowed him down as well, which will help him a lot. Doesn't go running off ahead. So, intrigued to see what happens with Grimlock. Could be interesting to see how he changes in the game, when he gets used at the top level or not. It's going to be interesting. But looking forward to these buffs. And I'm hoping we can get these out of the way. And then we can get on to the next lot of bots. And see what comes next. But ultimately, looking forward to Grimlock. Hoping /Rippersnapper can get some more changes, because she's not quite relevant yet. Skydive and Skywalk, yes, they got a buff. Don't think it's really needed, but they got it. Trailbreaker, an exhaust, looking good. Hoping they get some more changes, bit of an increase in that shield even further than what they've got. And then obviously the nose cone drill horn rework. For me, it's a big job that should not have been done straight away. That should have been saved for further down the line when Dale's got sort of used to these changes. Because we don't want these changes to happen. It's buggy. We don't want these changes to happen. It makes him OP. We don't want to make these changes and it makes him not even as relevant. So it's very hard to balance him right now. But they have kind of stuck with the emphasis on walls, which I wasn't sure about. Not the way it is anyway. Then they went a bit too OP with it. Then they've gone a bit too underwhelming. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens with these bots. But hoping they can come out of playtest where they are relevant in some way, whether it's Zen farming at least. And hopefully relevant in wars as well, especially as a 5-star. So fingers crossed, and let's see what they come up with. The record, when this happened, I'm not too sure right now. It's still in playtest, but it is happening. Yeah, Stinger's put speed reduction in Grimlock is huge. Yeah, I agree. Penlancaster, I think should have more damage, about the same, but have like 35k health. So you mean like, basically, he won't get that 7k damage. I think it was whatever 6k damage in an area. He will not get that. Without going back to that sort of health. So I think yeah, I don't know. I think 40k health and 5k ish sounds about right for me. I think that's about right. Simon Hayes, 3+3 is SA needs more damage surely. Don't forget though, he's not a damage bot anymore. He's a warrior now. So warriors don't have high damage. So you got to think likes of Rook, the likes of Pipes. Even Pipes don't have high damage. You know, when you compare that to them, like, you know, Pipes only does, you know, 3941 in an area. You know, doesn't do high damage. When you look at Rook's Hollow, even Rook's Hollow does 6321. So you're looking at 6k max. But you're not. But even then, you know, when you've got Rook who does a Hollow, it doesn't do that damage straight away. So I think there's a playoff there. And you got to think as well that Rook's Hollow obviously is 5+3. It's a lot beefier. So 3+3. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah, but you got to. Simon Hayes, but yeah, but Pipes is 3+1. Yeah, but if I'm perfectly honest, Pipes is too OP. He's too cheap for what he does. Far too cheap. That doesn't mean that every other bot should be that cheap, because that just becomes spammable. And literally, Pipes is spammable. You literally can. And I'm not sitting here fighting saying I want pipes to be nerfed? No, not in a heartbeat. But we can't have more bots like pipes. We really can't. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And Penn Lancaster put Grim could become the new pipes. Maybe. I think the idea is for him to be a bit different than pipes, so we don't want two bots like pipes. So. Charlie plays 3+3 is unplayable in my opinion. I use Ironhide at 3+2 is already 18 points. That's the idea. You don't. If you've got a bot that you're going use, then that is balanced wrong, guys. You should be using each bot in your team once or twice, 3 times max. That's what you should be using bots. If you're using the bots more than 3 times, then it's balanced incorrectly. If I'm honest with you. And so you got to think 3+3. That's 3+6+9. And yeah, I think 9 ability points is probably where it probably needs to be. Maybe more damage, like I said, though. I'd rather have more damage, but less health, and keep that cost. Then I think it's warranted. As it is right now, I don't think 3+3 is warranted. So it depends on what damage it does. But yeah. Chris Taylor, Ultra Madness. Yes, we know this. This is what I mean. There's plenty of bots out there that we know drift. We know drift needs some work on him. There's certain bots out there we know need some work, like Grimlock, and they've not done them. That's a sad thing. What else? Cyber Inferno. So doesn't get the warrior buff with his G1. Which warrior buff? You mean the shield? It's obviously got a shield, yeah. He'll still get the shield, yeah. Penn Lancaster scatter shot. Well, yeah, we know scatter shot, but I said that in testing, and other people in playtest and the ape said no, basically. So that's not going to happen. They're not going to get a class change, and it's not going to equip Gunner Combat, sadly. Matt Bowley might put Windstreak or Bashbreaker on Grimlock. Just watch him spit as he roars. I don't hate those changes for him. Speed and health alterations are likely worth a DPS reduction. Yeah, maybe. I just think they've gone a bit too far with it, personally. Marco Marcel, I just can't get around the idea of Grimlock being a tank. Well, it should be. If we're talking about lore, then Grimlock should definitely be a tank. Penn Lancaster, I can see Grimlock being a sack bot to go after and take down defenses with the Age Core. Well, it's similar to Pipes again, but it's more costly than Pipes. So, you know, I think that's maybe what they're worried about as well. Obviously, you've got a bot that could be a sack bot doing 4,620 damage, you know, compared to that. So maybe they're a bit reluctant to do that, maybe. Simon Finn gets the Warrior Shield stick Megatronus on him. Yeah, but then he loses that shield, doesn't he? Because it doesn't get the Warrior Shield naturally. He gets the Warrior Shield through his G1. So you would lose that putting Megatronus on him. But then again, Megatronus does a percentage of your DPS. So because the DPS has been reduced, then Megatronus will not be as effective on Grimlock anymore. But just remember, guys, this is the thing we've talked about in playtest, though, that any special cores that you have on Grimlock will no longer work, but they're not sure what's that going to do to the game. That's the worry. Cool. Matt Poley, Grimlock no tank, Grimlock king. Lumega's put should be the strongest overall of all dinos. Yeah, I agree. He should. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. That's right, Cyber Inferno. Yeah, his G1 gets a shield, not naturally like Pipes and Ironhide. Yeah. Possible for him to have an effect on other Dinobots in the squad. We asked about this about 2 years ago. We talked about synergy, and we said no. Well, no, they said no. The ape said no, it's not going to happen. Well, the ape said they wanted it to happen, and it's never happened, so it's not going to happen, I don't think. Grandson, will Grimlock's G1 core still walk on him? Yeah, because it's his G1 core. Of course it will. Cool. Okay. Next up, we're going to look at the new bots, Bluestreak and Wildrider. So, for those that weren't here last week, we did see these guys in the showroom last week. Very, very cool. There we are. And then if we look at Wildrider as well. I had lots of people hit me up saying, that's not Wildrider. I was like, it really is. Was he lying? I'm literally not. It definitely is Wildrider. But yeah, very, very cool. One of my favourite stunticons, him and Breakdown, when I was a kid. So yeah, very, very cool. And looking at Wildrider, his ability. So a shot that deals 6,527 damage to a single target and reduces the max health and speed by 30% of nearby targets for the rest of the battle. That nearby is not correct. It's just a one target. Each consecutive use of the ability up to 2, so it only does 2 increases the damage by 50%. So looking at that, and then looking at the ability 11. So all the ability 11 does is increase that and make it to nearby targets, and increases a quarter of that damage, plus a quarter of that damage to nearby targets. So basically, the ability 11 makes it AOE. So we'll have a go with Wildrider first, and then we'll show the difference between ability 10 and the ability 11. Cool. So looking at Wildrider here. So looking at damage, so his first shot, let's do his first shot. So his first shot there, you can see, just 5,221 damage. So, yeah, not bad, not bad. His second shot does more damage. See there, look. That will take out, that will do around 10k damage, around 9,800 damage. And his third shot will do, well, it says 6,000 there because it's covered by the shield gen. But his third shot will do 13k damage. Now, obviously, not very impressive there, because the problem is that obviously it's a single shot. And so it does quite good damage though. So let's just change the base round a bit so we can show it a bit better. So let's take it away from the shield in a minute. I did have these here originally, but I took them away because I did a bit of testing on something. Okay, cool. So the good thing about this is Billbot is out. You can take out Billbots with his first shot, does 6,782 damage. With his second shot, take out a cannon. With his third shot, can take out a shock tower. It's just that obviously that shield gen that matters. But looking at Wildrider, we saw earlier that the problem is when you hit that shot, try and take the defenses out with the shield gen. That's a big problem. But where this changes is when you use ability 11. And ability 11, we talk about ability 11 and say, well, sometimes like should it be a game change that made the bot? Is it fair? And I think they've got the balance right with this bot. I think that at ability 10, he's all right. He's pretty good. But ability 11 makes him absolutely beastly, and I'll show you why. So when we got bluestreak, so once we hit this build bot and take it out, it makes all the defenses in the area have 30% less maxed health. Because it's AoE, it's pretty much everything in that area. Now, if we hit it again, it has even less maxed health. It has 6% maxed health. So we can hit that. And you see there, got a purple aura there. We can hit it again there. And now we can hit it again. And we can hit it again. And this will easily take out anything now. And you can see there, it's doing absolutely incredible damage. Now, I know people are going to say, yeah, but Wozza, that was expensive. That was really, really crazily expensive. But what you've got to do is you've got to prioritize your targets. Now, I have said that the first hit that he does will take out a build bot. And this is how I envisage people using this, in one of two ways. So one way I see this being used is because he can take out a build bot in his first shot, then take out a build bot. On your second shot, take out something a bit more important. So I'm going to take out maybe a MDS, maybe a core that isn't protected by the shield gen. I'm going to take that out. And then my third shot, I'm going to take a different defense out because I need to take that out. Now I can use it like that, or I can use it and I can hit a defense on my first shot and obviously weaken it. I mean, obviously we just started this now. Let's try it again. So the other way we can use it is you can hit a defense, and all of a sudden now hits that. Now everything in that area now has 30% less health. It makes it easier to take out. And so we can use a different bot. So for example, so this is how I would envisage using bluestreak. So we can hit the build bot, which now reduces 30% health in all that area. And so normally, Jetfire can't take out the shield gen. But now because it's got 30% less health, you can take out the shield gen. Because it's got 30% less health, you can take out the shock tower. So using bluestreak in an area at that 5 ability points makes everything easier to kill. Very easy to kill. Or you can use him just to take out defenses. So really a utility bot of using him to take out key defenses, comboing him with other bots. And I really like this bot. Really like this bot. I'm really impressed with it. We're currently looking at the 4-star and trying to buff the 4-star just slightly, because when you look at build bots having 5,880 health and text bot is up, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth when it needs to be 5,880 health and he does 5,878. He's just too short, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth. So I think for the sake of 2 damage for the 4-star and a 5-star, to make him one-shot build bots, I think that will make the 4-star even quite relevant as well for people. And you still get this 0.25 reduction in health from the 4-star. Yes, the 5-star is 30%. This is 25% reduction, or 22.5%, sorry. So even the 4-star I think is quite relevant, and that's when you know you've got a good bot. When you even look at the 4-star and go, you know what, I can use this in some way. And as you level it, so if we just look at the 4-star version, so as you level it, it's the damage that increases, so the max health and everything else part of the ability stays the same. So he's still relevant at lower levels. It's just obviously the damage that he does to the target. So you want to take him a bit out of build bot out, then you need to level him up to max for a 4-star. But if you want him to combo him, then you can use him at a lower level. So it's viable even for lower people. And this is why I think this bot is really good. Honestly, really impressed. There's only one thing I have a problem with, really. And something else we'll talk about in a second. And that one thing is that when we were designing this bot and I saw that reduce 30% health, straight away I thought of pipes. And I thought this is a good alternative to, to try and take pipes out, because Twin Twist can't kill pipes. He's got a massive shield, got massive health. And I thought, you know what? This guy could do that. And I said, I know you can't make it 90%, because 90% for defenses and just be one shot by everything. But could you make that more powerful for bots? Could you make that 30% for the rest of the battle, but 90% for a bot? Or 70% or something like that. It's going to really reduce a bot's health. And so then, although it won't kill the bot, it's going to make that bot in danger of being killed very easily. If it's a gunner or something, if it's a tank, then it's going to make it a bit more flimsy. And so I've been really pushing for this to happen, and sadly, it just didn't. And so we have blue streak on defense in this outpost. And so if we put pipes down and we rush pipes in, now watch pipes shield and health carefully. So blue streak hits him, and you see there his health went down ever so slightly. So we'll let pipes take some damage, which might take a while. And so his max health has been reduced by 30%. But watch this. That's all you get. You get a reduction by 30% of his max health, so that's all you can go to. But he still gets his shield. He still gets health buff. And once his shield runs out, he's still back to full health again. So this guy on defense literally does nothing for pipes. It's a bit of a shame, really, that they had an opportunity here to create a bot that would counter pipes, but it's a gunner like smokescreen. So sometimes you consider putting smokescreen in on your outpost, but you think he's great for damage, but he's not going to slow anyone down. He's not going to cause any issues in that sense. Very easy to counter. But when he pops up that outpost for a second, you're worried. And I wanted that from Blue Streak. I thought it'd be really good to be able to think, hang on a minute, I can use pipes in whatever sort of situation. But I've got to watch out for Blue Streak. I need a different option for Blue Streak. So I can pop Blue Streak with Rook or something else. And I can save pipes for Twin Twist, but I can't use pipes in that situation. And so you've got to be a bit more careful with him. But sadly, that didn't come to fruition. Another problem is something that will be fixed, I am told. It's a case of when, not if. And the problem is that right now is a bit of a bug in the game. It works the same for Rekgar, and sadly it works the same for Blue Streak. So with Rekgar, if you bless a fellow member of your team with the idea of him coming back to life, then that would work normally, no problem. But if you drop your combiner in the meantime, then sadly that will not work. The combiner resets all the effects. And I kind of understand it when he explained it, that, you wouldn't want your bots to get hacked by Computron. You drop your combiner, and then when your combiner dies, the hack carries on. Dropping your combiner negates all the effects in game, so that your bots don't come out re-affected again from what they were before. So I kind of get that. But sadly, when Rekgar came out, that wasn't fixed in time. And now they are pushing boundaries again with bot, which I do like. But it's the same with Blue Streak. So if you hit a defense and it has that 30% effect reduced in health for the rest of the battle, if you drop your combiner, that effect will be removed. So if you're going to use Blue Streak in a combo, either use that combo first before you hit your combiner, or use Blue Streak after your combiner for the time being. But I am told that will be fixed. I'm not too sure when, but I'm sure it'll be fixed. But I've no doubt that when that is fixed, I think we have got a really good endurance bot, guys. And I believed in Rekgar, and I like Rekgar for the fact that it's something a bit different. I do like that. And same for bluestreak. It's something different again. I've always said that an ability that sort of changes in some way, and I envisage that this could open a sort of bit of a Pandora's box and hopefully have bots that can change their damage in terms of fire, in terms of electric maybe. I think it's a massive box of opened here, and I'm hoping that it sort of goes that way and has some variety in the game. And I'm glad they able to kind of listen to me in a way where I did say that we need some more variety on these abilities. We don't want more one shots. We don't want more AoE bots. We've got them. We don't want bigger and better versions of what we've already got. We want something a bit different, and I think we've got that with Retgar. I think we kind of got that with Braun a bit as well. Maybe what didn't work out right, wasn't balanced right, but the idea was there with Braun, and I think they've got it spot on here. I think with Bluestreak and Wildrider. So looking forward to them coming to the game. Cannot wait, and yeah, they've got my seal of approval, guys. So yeah, very good bots. Look forward to them coming to the game. Cool. Let's have a look what everyone's put. So Simon Hayes put also doesn't work on defense. Obviously, you've seen there. Not really works, but doesn't work effectively. That's a difference. What else? William Wilkinson, I covered it earlier in the stream, so go back and watch that, and you can go and check it out. Penlanka support, you could use Bluestreak to trigger Brainstorm with an area ability 11. You put it on the BB. Yes, that's another good thing as well. I was thinking about that, but didn't quite test it. But I think that could work very well with a build button and area. If you've not got a build button and area, you might have to use it twice. It gets quite expensive, but it's an option. But definitely. Penlanka support, I think Bluestreak is going to place either Prowl or Slingshot on my war team. Definitely Prowl. Definitely. Tony Beast put, yeah, that S11 is sick. Rondo Hamilton, are you getting him? I'm going for the 4-star regardless, but I'll get the 5-star eventually. But I'm at a point now where my team's pretty much set. But I do like him. I can see him being useful in many, many different situations. Doja, I would pair him with Breakneck. Breakneck doesn't quite do enough damage, though, to be paired with him, really. You need something that can finish a one-shot or AoE. Do a decent amount of AoE damage. That's what you want. Matt Pollard, Bluestreak could work well against a war team if the team is clustered and multiple bots get hit with a 30% reduction. Not really. You tend to find that one bot is out front, where you normally pop outposts with a Rook Hollow or with pipes, or a bot can handle it. So it's very rare that you will let your bots pop an outpost by walking into it. So you'll normally pop it from range. So that's why it's probably not that good. In that situation, yeah, maybe, but I don't think that'll be the case. Jamie Carpenter, Junkie has been a big disappointment for me. Well, obviously because it didn't work with the Titan, but I think it's still good. Tony B, any chance SA is going to make the SA the same across all star levels? No way we're going to take the 4-star and the 5-star both to SA 11. I don't think that'll ever be the case, sadly, on the cards. I really doubt it, guys. So, no, I don't think so. Cool. Well, that is everything for today's stream, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. Hope you've enjoyed the content. If you have enjoyed it, hit a like on the like button before you leave. But more importantly, hit that subscribe button to never miss another stream, guys. We're going to be covering, obviously, the Black Friday stuff. We're going to be covering the new Titans when they come out, 5-star Titans next year. Obviously covering any new features, next phase of HQ18. There's going to be loads coming over the next few months, guys. Cannot wait for it. Excited for it to come in the game. Make sure you subscribe. Never miss it, guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. See you next week, guys. And for now, peace out, everyone.